10,122. Just look at that number. Now, that isn't just a random string of digits. No, it's a landmark. It's the final word on a career that completely smashed barriers and redefined what was even possible in the game of cricket.
For over a century, that number represented a mountain that nobody thought could be climbed. It just seemed impossible. So, what is the story behind one of cricket's most iconic numbers? And who was the man who actually climbed that mountain first?
Well, that story belongs to this man right here, Sunil Manohar Gavaskar. Many of us know him as Sunny, but in the cricketing world, he's revered by another name, a title really, the original Little Master. To really get a grip on his legacy, we have to start with an achievement that was, no joke, cricket's very first Everest. And the key word here, you gotta remember this, is first. On March 7th, 1987, Sunil Gavaskar did something that no cricketer, and I mean no one, had managed in over a century of the sport. He shattered the 10,000-run barrier. Think of it as cricket's version of breaking the 4-minute mile. It was a huge deal. And remember, he did this in Test cricket, which is the ultimate marathon of the sport, not a sprint. We're talking 5 straight days of intense mental and physical pressure. So to score 10,000 runs in that format, wow, that's not just about raw talent. It's proof of incredible longevity and an unbreakable will. And you really can't overstate how massive this challenge was. Here was Sunil Gavaskar, standing at just 5'4", and he was squaring up against the fastest, most intimidating bowlers the world had ever seen. He wasn't just ticking off runs, he was a giant slayer. But okay, to really get how he reached that incredible peak, we need to rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, to his absolutely legendary debut. Picture this. The year is 1971. A 21-year-old kid named Gavaskar is walking out to bat for India for the very first time. And his opponents? Only the most feared team in the world, the West Indies. And he's facing them on their home turf, where they were considered practically unbeatable. And his performance? Well, it was nothing short of historic. A staggering 774 runs in a single series, with an average of over 154. That is still the record for the most runs ever scored in a debut series. He didn't just announce his arrival, he kicked the door down and completely rewrote the rulebook. He was so dominant that the West Indian fans, the people he was playing against, fell in love with him. A calypso singer in Trinidad, Lord Relator, actually wrote this famous song in his honor. Come on, when the people you're beating write songs about how unbeatable you are, you know you're doing something pretty special. And that right there, that brings us to the absolute heart of the Gavaskar legend, his unique ability to not just face, but to actually tame that ferocious West Indian fire. See, throughout the 70s and 80s, the West Indies unleashed what they called their four-pronged attack. It was just a relentless barrage of fast, hostile bowling designed to intimidate you. But against that firestorm, Gavaskar didn't just survive, he thrived. He averaged an incredible 65.45 against them. How? It was all about his near-perfect technique. You know it's real when even your greatest rivals were in awe. The legendary Imran Khan called him the most compact batsman I've bowled to. And that's the key word, compact. That flawless, impenetrable technique, that was his secret weapon. It was like bowling against a brick wall. But his career wasn't all just record-breaking runs. He also had to carry a captain's burden. And that part of the story is a little more complicated, a little more nuanced. Yeah, this is where things get interesting. As a pure batsman, he was world-class, averaging over 51. But as a captain, his record tells a totally different story. Not a story of losing, but a story of constant stalemates, with a staggering 30 draws. So what explains this disconnect? Well, Gavaskar was a smart captain who knew his team's limitations. They didn't really have a world-class bowling attack that could take 20 wickets to win a match. So he adopted a really defensive strategy. It was basically, if you can't win, make absolutely sure you don't lose. So, when we put all the pieces together and look back, what is his ultimate enduring legacy? It really is a legacy built on these incredible timeline-defining moments. You've got that unbelievable debut in 71. Then, in 83, he breaks the great Sir Don Bradman's long-standing record for most centuries. And then, of course, the Everest moment in 87, the first man to 10,000 runs. But his legacy is about so much more than just runs. He was the first Indian fielder to take 100 catches. He set a world record for durability, playing over 100 test matches in a row. And maybe most importantly, he inspired a whole generation, showing future legends like Sachin Tendulkar that an Indian cricketer could in fact be the best in the world.
And that brings us to one last thought-provoking question. Today's game is so often about explosive power, speed, and aggression. So as we look back on Gavaskar's career, you have to wonder, is his method, that pure, perfect technique, that unbreakable concentration, that just dogged resilience, is that a lost art in the modern game? It's definitely something to think about.